Good afternoon. I wanted to share with you guys some great information I found out the other night. I was on a live call that Jim had with David Schmidt on the new X2O water machine that LifeWave has. So I wanted to share some of that information with you and to go over it. So I just want to check to make sure that everything is working on my side here. Okay, so I'm going to get ready to share my screen. Okay, get back to that. Screen 1, 2. Well, let's see that one. Okay, so I got pulled up. Looks like there are some people on here, but this is jump to a section from the video last night where Jim, or not last night, but this is from the other night where Jim had David Schmidt on about the X2O water machine. So wanted to share some information with everyone on that. So we'll go straight to that video and let David kind of give a little explanation on things.
Element behind it and what the discovery was that led to this. And for those people that hadn't heard it before, I had made this discovery, this observation on light emission from lobsters, and that the wavelengths of light coming off specific regions in lobsters, namely the blood for one, the shell for another, that there was a mathematical code that linked them all together. And you can find this exact same code in the very first sentence of the book of Genesis. So I talked about that quite a bit. I've shown results from our clinical studies, but I realized that up until now, I haven't really explained the science behind this on how it's possible to trap light inside of water. So your team tonight, this is going to be the first time I've ever talked about this. So I'm really excited about that.
That's amazing. Yeah, you got the floor. Let's go for it.
All right, let's do it. So hopefully I can share screen here. All right. Okay. Okay, so of course we're talking about X2O, and this is the first and the only water technology that will infuse water with light. Now, the benefit to this is that because the light gets trapped inside the water, when you drink the water, the light is released inside the body. So what are going to be the benefits to this, and how exactly do we do this? How is it possible? So first we'll go over what the legal compliant claims are. Our studies, when we do them, we show a whole variety of different benefits, and then we have to put those studies in front of our legal. So some of the benefits that you can expect from this system is that first, it's going to improve hydration. So you can think of this like a structured water product. Normally, we take different types of minerals, add it to water, and it will cause the water to form a structure. So this reduces the surface tension in the water, and that makes the water enter the inside of the cell much more efficiently. So when we're talking about improving hydration, that's what we're really talking about. We see improvements in energy production, improvements in metabolism. You'll notice right away that the water is extremely smooth. Most people can drink an entire glass of this water very quickly because it is so smooth. It displays antioxidant activity amongst other things. And of course, we have a filtration system, a dual stage filtration system for removing contaminants. We've also designed this system to work with X39 and Cellergize. So a good way to use this is to put your Cellergize into the X2O water when you start your day, along with an X39 patch on the back of your neck. So all of these three products work together really, really well. And they have great benefits. So the basic way that we could describe the system, there's more to it than this, but the first and the most important part is that we have this light infusion technology, which I'll be talking about tonight, about how exactly that works. And then we have two different stages of filtration, which are on the side of the unit. One of these stages is going to put hydrogen into the water. However, the benefits that you get from drinking this water are not exclusively from hydrogen. The primary benefits are from the light infusion. So in fact, when we did our first 5 clinical studies, it was only on the light infused water. We hadn't infused it with hydrogen at that point. Okay, and God said, let there be light, and there was light. So light has been around a pretty long time. Light's been around from the very beginning of creation. But what exactly is light? What's interesting is that for most of recorded history, however long you believe history is, the greatest minds historically have not been able to clearly state what light is. Many people have had guesses, but we haven't been able to define it. And what's remarkable is that our health completely depends on light. Our body is designed to process light, and we even have photons, biophotons of light inside of our body. Yet we've had a difficult time defining exactly what it is. So that's an important question. So then, how do we exactly go about infusing light into water? That doesn't seem like it would be something that would be possible. So is there a scientific way to explain this? And there is. So to understand the complexity of this problem, we're going to take a very brief tour on the history of the science of light. And then you'll get a better idea of what I'm talking about here. So first, in 1672, we have Isaac Newton, one of the greatest scientists of all time. His thinking at that point in time was that light was a stream of particles. And he did these experiments with prisms, and he determined that light was a particle. And because Newton was so prominent, you have to remember, he gave us a gravitational constant. Because Newton was so highly regarded, his theory or hypothesis that light was composed of particles was accepted back in that day. But yet, right around the same time, other scientists were saying, well, wait a minute now. Light seems to behave like a wave. Light will reflect, light will bend. This seems to act more like a wave than a particle. So there's these two opposing scientific views. Which is it? Then in 1801, you have Thomas Young. Now, this is a very famous experiment called the double slit experiment. And it's so famous, people still talk about it today because it has some very powerful implications. But quite simply, you run photons of light through these two slits. And you can even turn the emitter down, where the emitter is only emitting one photon at a time. And what you get are these bands of light. Some are dark and some are not as intense. And this would indicate that light is a wave. So in other words, you can imagine some waves adding to one another and some waves colliding together and becoming destructive. And that would lead to either an intense light or a less intense light. So this experiment seemed to prove that light is in fact a wave. Then, of course, in the 1860s, you have James Clerk Maxwell, and he's known for Maxwell's equations. These are 4 equations that link electricity and magnetism. And one of the important things about the discovery that Maxwell made was that electromagnetism was self-propagating. What that meant was that you had an electric part, a magnetic part, and an electromagnetic wave would oscillate between these two. Now, he wanted to know at what speed does an electromagnetic wave propagate, and he calculated it to be the speed of light. So he reasoned that light must be an electromagnetic wave. So this seemed to settle any argument about what light is. Light is an electromagnetic wave. Then you have Albert Einstein. Now, we of course usually recognize Einstein for the theory of relativity, but in fact he won his Nobel Prize for his discovery of the photoelectric effect. And what was important about this is that photoelectric effect is that if you take a piece of metal and you shine a light on it, you'll get electrons coming off. But what was found was that the emission of electrons from the metal would depend on the wavelength or the frequency of light. In other words, you could shine a red light on the metal and not get any electron emission, but then you could shine a blue light on it, and now we got electron emission. So that means that light is behaving more like a particle. So this was later renamed photons. So you can see the inherent problem here. We have experiments that are showing that light is a wave. Then you have experiments that are showing that light is a particle. So which is it? I thought we just proved that light was a wave. So is it a particle or a wave? And you can imagine now when people are skeptical about things, this is something that you can point to. Something as simple as light that we live with every day. The greatest minds, the greatest scientific minds in history didn't know exactly what it is. Then you have Richard Feynman, Nobel Prize winner, brilliant guy. Between around 1940 and 1953, along with these other scientists, they come up with quantum electrodynamics. And quantum electrodynamics, what's really interesting about it is that it's the most precisely measured and tested area of physics. In other words, the calculations, the formulas that are used in QED have been shown to have an accuracy out to 12 decimal places. So this is not speculative. And in QED, light is thought of as a quantum object, meaning it is neither a particle or a wave. Photons can behave like a wave, or photons can behave like a particle, but they're actually neither. If you have photons being emitted from a source, like the sun, in quantum electrodynamics, it would be said that that photon can take any path possible, and the photon is measured by its disturbance or excitation of space. But it usually will travel in a straight line in accordance with classical physics. But we want to think of photons as not being like these little balls, but rather these objects that show up in space. And that's important because it has everything to do with the X2O system. So that's a little bit of background, but you're probably wondering, what does any of this have to do with X2O? So now let's go ahead. There we go. Let's go ahead and talk about this now. We're going to fast forward to 2008 to Dr. Luc Montagnier. And actually, when I invented X39, I was contacted by his office, which was an enormous honor just to be in dialogue with his office. And Dr. Montagnier won the Nobel Prize for co-discovering HIV, but he quickly, after this period of time, migrated over towards homeopathy. And he had a belief that there could be, in fact, a scientific explanation for how homeopathy worked. And he was heavily criticized for this. which is interesting given that he won the Nobel Prize. But he believed that quantum electrodynamics could explain how coherent domains could be formed in water. So for those of you that are unfamiliar with homeopathy, let's use an example. Let's say, because we're getting into summer, that some of you have allergies, and let's say that you're allergic to pollen coming off of trees. You could take the pollen and you could put it into water, shake it. It's actually called succession, where you create a shock wave through the water. Then you dilute the water and you shake it again, dilute it, shake it again, until finally there's no pollen that's left in the water. All that's left is a coherent vibration. And then you stabilize it with something like alcohol or glycerin. And of course, many people in the scientific community have thought that homeopathy is quackery, but of course, that doesn't really matter because homeopathy happens to work. So Dr. Montaigne wanted to say, well, how can we go about modernizing the concept of homeopathy? And his belief was, okay, we can look at water and we could say maybe there are these coherent resonant domains that are being formed in water. How would that work exactly? Well, water is a dipole, right? So water is H2O, just pure water, not talking about any minerals in there. But water is effectively a dipole. So dipoles are used in radio transmission. Dipoles are used to propagate or receive electromagnetic waves. And liquid water is an open system that can interact with electromagnetic fields. So we can see when you take a photon of light and it interacts with an object or material like water, now it's going to come out of, let's say, the quantum domain and into our reality, and it's going to manifest itself as an electromagnetic wave or an electromagnetic field. So under very specific conditions, water dipoles can create these coherent domains. What does that look like? Coherent domain consists of molecules of water that oscillate in phase with a trapped electromagnetic field. What does that mean exactly? When you have molecules of water that get stimulated by wavelengths of light, we can create, under the right conditions, we can create oscillations that go from one dipole to another. And when that happens, you get a resonant cavity. And this resonant cavity becomes self-sustaining. So some of you have asked the question, well, how long does X2O remain stable after it dispenses from the machine? Well, that's going to depend. Are you exposing it to microwaves? Are you exposing it to ambient light? Are you changing the temperature? It will remain stable depending on what conditions it is stored under. But the important thing here is that we have, I would very clearly say this is a hypothesis because we haven't proved it. What we've proved through our clinical studies is that when you drink this light-treated water, it has very profound, novel biological effects. So we can measure within 15 seconds of people drinking the water that there are measurable changes that occur that are very favorable inside the human body. So our working hypothesis is that what we're doing is we're creating, because of the X2O process, we're creating these self-sustaining resonant cavities that light or electromagnetic oscillations are being trapped and contained. That may be more information than you wanted to know, but there it is regardless. So this is the method that was patented that I came up with for trapping light in water. So important question now is what happens when you drink the water? Well, first, we're not going to go through this in great detail because I've done this previously, and I want to get to your questions. But we've had multiple bioelectrical tests. So we could have something like EEG, heart rate variability. We have people connected to this. We take a baseline reading, have them drink a glass of water, and the average response time is 15 seconds. You can start to see changes in readings. I think on the first study, the worst that we did was 2 minutes. That was one person out of 20. 100% of the people have had measurable changes. In our studies now, it's about 300 people. We have never, not once, been able to see a person that would not respond to X2O. We have people that drink the water and say, well, I don't feel anything. But when you connect people onto equipment, you measure their blood, their urine, 100% of the time, we see a measurable change. Now, some of the things I've been really excited about, because it's so unusual to see this with a water product. We expect improvements in hydration. We can expect improvements in energy and energy flow. But what's really interesting about X2O, because we're trapping 6 different wavelengths of light, we're able to turn on energy production and protein synthesis in the cells. So we see an improvement in metabolism of specific amino acids. We see improvements in metabolism for improving cognition. Glycine, which of course is associated with longevity. It's a backbone for GHK and glutathione. Valine, of course, valine is necessary for muscle protein synthesis, for collagen, proline for collagen formation, alanine, of course, we know forms carnosine and AHK, and leucine is the key amino acid that's going to turn on mTOR, or muscle protein synthesis. And we even see activation of the KP pathway, which is used to manufacture NAD. And of course, a lot of people are interested in NAD these days because it's known to activate 2 of the sirtuin genes for producing anti-aging effects. So that's in fact something that we did measure in an in vitro study. So we saw this in vivo in human beings through metabolism, and also in vitro work that we're getting increases in NAD. So if this is something that you're interested in, I would recommend, instead of buying an expensive NAD supplement, that you just get common niacin. Make sure you have enough vitamin B3 niacin in your diet. You have the precursor to make NAD. And of course, when we do subjective questionnaires in our clinical study, we have people that report, hey, I drank a glass of X2O, I have more energy. People report improved mental clarity within minutes of drinking X2O. We've even measured improvements in circulation. And the benefits last generally 3 to 5 hours after drinking first glass. So in summary, with X2O, we're going to see improved hydration. And this is absolutely critical for optimum energy production and anti-aging. We're going to get antioxidant benefits from the infused hydrogen. The results are extraordinarily fast. What I recommend is for people to drink the water on an empty stomach. You can sit for a moment and feel the water working its way through your body. We can measure significant improvements in bioelectrical activity in the body. Improvements in metabolism, nutrient absorption. You can take a regular glass of water, put Celergize morning in it, and then you can take a glass of X2O. You'll actually see that the ingredients in Celergize dissolve more easily into X2O than regular tap water. And of course, that's one of the reasons why X2O is part of our product line, is because it complements all of our patches and our nutrition system. So, with that, Jim, I'm happy to take any questions.
Great. No, I'll tell you what, that's some great information. I think one of the questions that comes up the most, especially in those I'm in contact with, and I said I was at a large international organization with another company that produces alkaline antioxidant drinking water. How does our system, X2O, differ from theirs? I know how it does, but how would you best tell someone that's having the question from a customer that how does this compare to the other ionizers on the market today?
Yeah, so of course this isn't an ionizer, and what I would say is that there's many fine products on the market. There's plenty of filtration systems on the market, and those are things that we need. We need to take contaminants out of the water. There's nothing wrong with alkaline water products, water ionizers. That's one category. But where this is different is that this product is designed to produce specific anti-aging benefits. So where this technology differs so radically from anything else is that if we can take the very, very long history of light therapy and some of the modern information that we have today on how to activate the mitochondria, how to turn on collagen production with specific wavelengths of light. My initial concept with this is we've built an amazing company stimulating the skin with light, but what if we could put light inside of the body where we need it? And what if we could use water as a carrier? That way light could go everywhere inside the body. That was the initial thought that got me going in this direction. So this is the only technology that's available where we can put specific wavelengths of light into the body for turning on specific things. And with X2O, the goal is to turn on mitochondrial function because that's really at the center of everything else that happens in the body.
That's great. Now, as we're looking at the system, there's two filters. And I know that some of the biggest concerns we have today are the forever chemicals, the microplastics, the PFASs, PFOSs. How do we do with those?
Very, very well. We're going through additional certification right now where we can make broad claims, but we work with a manufacturer that specializes in high-end water filters, and this was actually a requirement that we had when we were designing X2O. Number one, we wanted to have 2 stages of filtration, not just one, and we had to be able to remove PFOS, PFOAs. We had to be able to remove heavy metals, chlorine, and the first stage of the filter in X2O will do that. The second stage is a carbon block, and that's principally used for generating hydrogen, although it will reduce contaminants in the water as well. But it's the primary stage that removes the forever chemicals.
And then what you're mentioning there with the secondary filter, I have measured the pHs. It's a great pH, and the ORP, the antioxidant level is pretty amazing, and it's pretty consistent. One thing I noticed though is as I drink the water, when I first started drinking, I kind of had it was like a feeling of just peace and relaxation. I don't know how to explain it.
Right.
But one thing I did notice by the second day is that I couldn't wear my glasses anymore. And so I literally went to the optometrist. He said, "You don't need glasses anymore." And so I've noticed a lot of improvements. I'm lifting more at the gym, a lot more at the gym. Shredding the weight, getting and muscle growing. I'm 70 now. It's like,
oh wow.
I
didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm 7 years old. So if someone is drinking the water, would you recommend 2 glasses in the morning? And would you recommend maybe the first glass just be X2O, and maybe the second glass be X2O and Celergize? What would your recommendations be on that?
Yeah, so I would say it depends. Depends on what a person's objective is. So, if an individual is trying to be an Olympic athlete, professional athlete, their goals are going to be very different than, guys like us that are, in their 60s and above that are looking for just anti-aging effects. So really depends on what the goal is. You would say the same thing about diet, but just simply for overall health and well-being, 1 to 2 glasses per day seems to be a good recommendation. What I would be concerned about is someone drinking a glass of water later in the day, 5, 6 o'clock. It may have a stimulating effect where they may not be able to get to sleep. That's happened to me on more than one occasion. So everybody has to kind of judge for themselves, but that would be something that that would be something someone should look for, is if they're drinking the water too late in the day, it may affect the quality of their sleep, if actually getting to sleep.
Well, I tell you, and like I said, I'm my worst, best or worst guinea pig. I do drink 12 ounces with Celergized evening at nighttime before I go to bed, and I sleep a solid 8 hours. Don't get up for anything. Just I gotta set the alarm clock because now I sleep throughout the night. Before I wake up with leg cramps all the time, like 3 to 5 times a night, leg cramps. Part of it due to past injuries, But the thing is, I don't get leg cramps anymore. I sleep like a rock. And
so Celergized evening is a special case because we could make the argument that what it's doing is getting those nutrients into the cell where they're being metabolized. And of course, we know that taurine, nattokinase, theanine, magnesium, that's going to relax the body. So I think we could make that case. That would be an exception.
Right.
Yeah.
And like I say, I've been drinking alkaline water for 8.
So that was a lot of great information in that video. It obviously is longer, but I am going to jump off of it. If you want the full thing, just comment below and let me know. I'm going to hop on here and show you currently the only way to purchase this LifeWave product, the X2O product, is as a brand partner. And I'm going to go through quickly, hopefully, how to join as a brand partner. So definitely go back to whoever shared this with you. But if you don't have anybody or I shared this with you, my site to go to is lifewave.com/Lisa77. You can always look up here. This tells you who you're shopping with. And that will let you know. The easiest way to join as a brand partner is to click this join button. And you'll have to go through this little setup here but joining as a brand partner, you have a variety of options for kits to get in. So get in where you fit in. The main thing is that you'll be getting the patch products, the X39 patch product that he spoke about. Definitely looks like this phototherapy product. I wear this every day since I started with LifeWave as a brand partner. So it's just been a game changer for my health and wellness routine. I never woke up before my husband. I'm one of those one patch wonders. The next day I started waking up 3 hours earlier than I had before, and it was definitely before my husband. I'm not waking up quite that early at this time since we're in the spring and just went through the winter. But I am still waking up with an alarm clock, so I don't need an alarm clock. If I need to be somewhere at 8 o'clock in the morning, I know I'm going to be able to wake up without an alarm clock, which amazes me because I never thought in my life that I'd be getting myself out of bed. I used to be one of those people that had to drag myself out of bed. Now, like the water product, David mentioned, works for everyone differently. They can see stuff when they're evaluating them, but you may not notice it. Same thing with this product. Like me, you may not notice something the first day. It may take you 2 weeks, 30 days, or even longer than that. But a good deal of people do see something in 30 days with the X39 product. So to get in, the starter pack is not getting any patches, and that gets you $25. So that is an option. If you being a brand partner is something you're going to want to do, I would definitely jump in the advanced pack or one of these bigger packages where you get in, you save more money on your patch products. You can always upgrade in the future. So let's say I join as the Advanced Plus today, which is just $975. And I want to upgrade 3 months down the road, I can upgrade to this premium pack. I can state that I currently am a premium pack person. I signed up with one of these options here, but after my experience in the first week of me and my husband utilizing these patches, we upgraded to this Advanced Plus package so we could try all the variety of products. So I'm going to just show you what that looks like. Normally the wholesale product pricing that you get on the X39 product, if you're getting it at wholesale, is just under $100. But let's see, with this, you're paying $975 and you're getting 11 packs of X39. So that is giving you a greater savings. That ends up being just under $89 a pack instead of that $100 a pack of X39. And let's say you want to try some of the other patching products that they have. You definitely can't increase it. See, it turns to red, so don't increase it. But we could decrease this number to whatever you would want. So if you want to try out some of the patching products, other patching products that David has, and let me know if you need more information on that. I can send you a little questionnaire to find out where your needs are. Eon is a great patch that helps with stress and inflammation. Definitely the athletes in my home are wearing that after they practice, but a lot of us other people in our house are also wearing that because I like to sleep well, or if I ate something I should not have ate, it works well with my X39 to help bring down some of that stuff that I might have gotten exposed to. So I'm just kind of adding in glutathione as a patch we've been utilizing a lot here. So we need 2 more regular products. Another patch product that is popular is, if people have a lot of discomfort, is this Ice Wave. It's a 2-patch product, and you will need to, I can show you more information on how to utilize that product if that's something that you want to utilize for your discomfort. But as you can see, our cart is full now with this kit, and we just can hit the continue button. You will want to set up your monthly subscription. I know in my house we do this performance bundle, so that's what I'm going to set up as my monthly subscription. As an example here, because X39 and X49 are the 2 patches used most frequently, probably in our house. So on here, it's just a lot of filling out your personal information. So you do that. There is this section here where it's your personal website and login. So here you would type in what you want to utilize for your website. So it will let you know if it works or not. So just keep that in mind, that section. You can change this in the future if you need to through your back office. And if you join on my team, I can show you how to do that. Otherwise, there's things in your back office, I think, to help you out with that. But I wanted to show you because they did talk about the Celergize products. There's a morning, afternoon product that people may utilize, or an evening product. And if you want to add additional items to your cart, you can click this button and go to the nutrition options, and they have a combo pack. But always, as with anything, just read the ingredients on here and make sure it works for you. But you can, if you buy this together, it's $119.95, as you can see, and you would just hit save. Otherwise, you can purchase them individually or try out that way. But this would be adding that to our order, and you'd be all set up to check out as a brand partner at that time. Then when you are signed up as a brand partner, you will have your website set up. You will have a site that you can go to then, back office, lifewave.com. I am going to just log into this one and show you how to, once you become a brand partner, they have information across the top here, kind of gives you up-to-date information. Currently, since the water system is a big thing that's coming out open to the brand partners to utilize now, that's what's here. So you could just click here to start to learn more and getting on the list for when they roll out. If you hit the learn more here for when they roll out the options to purchase the water machine. Otherwise, going to the store is where you find all the products, and here's the water technology. You will find out that this is, here are the different, filters that they have, but this is the water technology system. $5,500 roughly, as you can see, but currently you cannot put it into your cart. So you can put your email address in here and get on the wait list to find out when they will be releasing these. Last week they released so many units. And again, I think this week they're going to be releasing so many units. So you need to get on this email list. It will alert you when that's open, but they are selling out. I believe it was in under an hour last week. The week before, a couple weeks before that, they had more units available, but that sold out too in just a few hours. So definitely get on the list. So joining as a brand partner is currently how you get on that list. I would be honored to have you on my team. I can show you the different resources that are available to people. So if you want to learn more, find out more, you like digging in and learning about things, let me know. I can share with you some of the other videos David has done in the past about this technology. Also, if you want to learn more about the X39 product, go to thisisit.info.com. Again, that is thisisit.info.com, and there you can learn all about X39. But hopefully everyone has a great day.